Hello everybody, I am Baltmatrix, and today we're taking a look at Armada Megatron from Transformers Legacy Evolution. I picked this Megatron figure up at commandstore.com. We're going to start out in robot mode. This figure is packaged in vehicle mode, but I want to start out in the bot mode. And it's exquisite. It is exactly what I've always wanted from a highly posable mainline Armada Megatron. The paint is lovely. The plastic feels nice and tight, and overall, it's a stunner of a figure. Megatron's head sculpt is excellent. There is one problem I have with the figure in robot and vehicle mode, and that has to do with the horns. These big horns, while nice, and they are meant to be able to, bend in a little bit, my figure, these dang things do not stay in, and they are a pain in the arse to get plugged back in. Not the end of the world. I can just glue them back into place, but I do find it weird that, parts of his head just fall off. In robot mode, this figure is pretty darn posable. Feet have ankle pivots, but no forward and back. Knees, ratchets. Forward and back ratcheting in the legs and hips. That's just a hinge going in and out, and then there's a swivel at the upper thigh. There is torso articulation. Shoulders move side to side, and that joint is much too loose for my taste. We're not talking noodles here, but it is much too loose. I've tried tightening these little screws on the back. That isn't doing anything. So I might get some, I think it's shock oil. Is that the stuff that makes joints tighter? Or is it, what do you call it? Jobby Jizz. Is that what it is? I think that's what it's called. That should also tighten it up. The shoulders have these little panels with the Decepticon symbols on them, and they flip up to grant the outer shoulders articulation, which is so nice. Then there's a swivel just below that. Bend at the elbow is over 90 degrees, and fists do articulate. I would have loved there to have been a panel here to close up the forearms. Not the biggest deal in the world. The left fist is open, and unfortunately, it does not have a flip-out knife, where the right hand is a closed fist. And I'm not sure what the reasoning for that is, other than he had one hand that was different on the original figure than the other. That's the only thing I could figure. Chest-wise, detailing is very nice. I would have loved another, I seem to remember the original figure having a Decepticon symbol right here. It doesn't. That's fine. Head is on a ball joint, can look up and down a little bit, and swivels side to side. Other than the flippity-floppity shoulders, everything else on the figure is nice and tight. There are roughly 3 gimmicks in this mode, and the first 2 have to do with the turret and the cannon, and then the other gimmick has to do with one of the arms and the cannon barrel. So we'll do that first. Cannon barrel pops off, and then if you flip up either of the arms, you can attach the cannon barrel to his arm, a la Shockwave. You get a cool little Shockwave gimmick going here. So you can go pew pew, pew pew pew, and this is blast effect compatible. See, totally compatible. The other action gimmick is fold up the one arm, put the turret around, and flip that cannon around like in the original toy, and he has the hip-mounted cannon, or hip-mounted fusion cannon, I guess? Very, very nice. This is the way I prefer to have him, or you could do the other thing, where, like the original figure and toy, you pull the torso up, and then you swivel the turret around, but you have to kind of collapse it or flip it out for clearance, and then turn it around, and then drop the figure back down, flip up the cannon, flip that out, and then you have the spinny cannon gimmick, though it doesn't really spin all that much. Yeah, it's missing some posability. It's not that big a deal. But as you can see, I keep popping off the horns. Size comparison time. Leader Class Legacy Skyquake, Leader Class Studio Series The Fallen, The Big Purple Chair, Leader Class Galvatron, Siege Galaxy Prime, and Leader Class Transmetal 2 Megatron from Beast Wars. All told, the robot mode is a ton of fun. As I said earlier, the only negative that I really have with the robot mode are the looseness of the shoulders and the horns falling off. That's it. Those are my only complaints. Otherwise, the rest of the figure is just, it's so nice. It's just so nice. Now, let's go ahead and get in the transformation. Transformation for our Terror Tank here is very easy, and it is a wonderful homage to the original figure. Start off with, take the fists and fold them up into the forearms. Then come up to the shoulder pylons and open up these panels. And then we'll fold the arms up into them. The way you want to fold them up is to make sure that the 3.5 mil, or the 5 mil, is that a 5 mil port? I can never remember. And that is facing towards the outside of the figure. That will fold up and lightly peg into place up in there, because there's a tiny little peg in those shoulders. Like that. Now, this is where things are going to differ with the shoulders. First, come to the chest and fold the chest open, flip out the face guard, fold that back up, and that face guard will go over Megatron's face, as opposed to just lifting or sliding straight up from the chest. So, nice little face guard. And the other difference is the shoulders. So, you fold them down, and they will snap into these black pieces in the armpit. And then that whole black piece section will fold up and slide into place. Now, what's cool about this is it actually pegs into place in two different spots. The first spot is this orange piece actually slides up into this little slot inside the purple shoulder bit. And then there are these orange and gray pylons on the back of the shoulders will actually snugly peg into and connect to this little divot that's in the actual shoulder pylon, or the treads. So fold it down and snap it into place, and then fold that whole thing up and pop that into place. And then for the legs, well, those are the same. Turn them around 180 degrees, fold up the heels, fold up the toes, and the toes on mine are very, very tight and hard to fold up. Not a big deal, though. Then come to the panels on the inside of the legs, flip them out, and then accordion the leg up, and the outside of the leg will peg into that black piece that was in the armpit, and the panel will peg into what is the figure's butt. So just get that in place and do it on the other side. Like so. And then flip the turret down and turn it in place, and we've got tank mode. I love this tank mode. I seriously do. It's got incredible Sheila vibes from Red vs. Blue, but it's definitely not a Scorpion tank from Halo. It has all of the moldings from the original Armada Megatron, but none of them do anything. None of them have any interactions with any minicons. In fact, there isn't a minicon port found on this thing, just the 5 mil ports. We've got one on the side of the rear tread, one on the side of the front tread, one on the top of the front tread, one on top of the turret, and then on the other side, one on top of the front tread, side of both treads, and then there are 5 mil ports on the back of the tank, and that's it. There aren't any other 5 mil ports unless you count the turret. I guess you could count the turret, because technically it is a 5 mil port, and you could launch a sword out of it. And those 5 mil ports make it easy enough to just grab whatever the hell you can find and just attach it. And that in and of itself is just a ton of fun. Yes, I do wish there were some minicon ports so I could, attach some minicons, or maybe if we had minicons to attach, that would be good. Well, wait a minute. I have a bunch of Target Masters. That might work. Yeah, that does work. I mean, technically it totally works, but I kind of like just throwing a whole bunch of different guns on him better. In terms of size, the figure in tank mode does not feel that big, and it is much smaller than the original Armada figure. I just don't have an original Armada figure handy. It's somewhere in storage in, upper Pennsylvania. But I do have some other leader class figures. Unfortunately, none of them are tanks. Here is Leader Class ROTB Scourge and Leader Class Galvatron. He has the same footprint-ish in terms of length as Scourge, almost, but he's more in line with the footprint size of Leader Class Galvatron, which I'm perfectly fine with, because eventually he's going to get a recolor into him. And that's right, we've already gotten leaks, at least store leaks, that says we're going to be getting a Galvatron. Now, if that's going to be a repaint of this guy, I don't know. It probably will be. And I'm almost wondering if we're going to be getting a repaint of Commander Class Optimus Prime into his Power Links colors. That would be cool. That would be cool. But you know what would be cooler? Tidal Wave. Hasbro, please give us a Legacy Tidal Wave that attaches to this guy. Please? Okay, thanks. Bye. Transformation back into robot mode is actually easier than going from the robot to the vehicle. So just fold out the feet and heels, come underneath and unpeg the panels, and grab the legs and fold them down and close up the panels. Turn the legs around 180 degrees. Flip up these purple panels. That'll allow you to grab the chest, open it up, and flip up the face. Then grab the shoulders, fold them in, and these little black pieces will lightly peg into place. Fold up the shoulders. Fold up the shoulders. Normally I still have to hold on to that black piece. Open up the shoulders and fold out the fists, or fold out the arms, and then flip out the fists. And curse the wobbliness, or I should say the looseness of these shoulder panels, or pods, or pylons, or whatever, and then turn the turret. Oh, I forgot to mention the turret. The turret does not go around 360 degrees, so that is the base default angle for the turret. Turning it to the right, it only goes down about, well, I don't know what degrees that would be. It's not 180, obviously, but this is the way you're supposed to just have the turret as default. Then if you go to the left, it only turns 90 degrees, which, bummer. I know this is all for the transformation, but I would have loved to have 360 degree movement on the turret. You know what? It's not that big a deal. It really isn't. Now, I couldn't end this review without at least comparing Megatron to the other two Armada figures that we've gotten in this toy line so far. We've got the almost abysmal Hotshot, and then the pretty darn good Starscream. And you could see the difference in size. We've got Deluxe, Voyager, and Leader class figures here. I am eagerly awaiting Optimus Prime, the Commander class figure. I really want to get a hold of that one. Other than that, I was trying to rack my brain. Who else from Armada do I want? I could see a Blur coming. I would love to see was it Skids? Was that? I would love to see Skids get a redemption, because that figure was so awful. It was absolutely amazing. Anyway, so folks, let me know what you think of Megatron down in the comments. Let me know what Armada figures you would like to see come out over the next year or so. As always, I have been Baltmatrix, asking you to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you all next time.